Hey everybody, and welcome back to Digital Box Tuts. Today we're going to start a new series, building a website from scratch. On my screen here I have a template set up. The template consists of a header, a navigation, service area, small portfolio, testimonial, and a footer. Today we're just going to be concentrating on the navigation and the header here. So let's get started. Let's go to our text editor. And in my text editor I have two files open. I have an index.html and a style.css file, which is linked to the index.html file here. I also have another CSS file at the top here, normalize.css. This will remove any unwanted padding or margin on elements. So let's write our first tag, the header tag. And inside our header tag we're going to have our top navigation. So let's say div. Inside here we're going to have another div called container. We'll give it a class. And inside here we're going to have two elements. We're going to have our logo. We're going to have div. We'll give this an ID of logo. And down below we're going to have our nav. So first we're going to add a logo to our page. Image, and the path file is img / logo.jpg. Hit Control and save, and we go to our browser. If we refresh, so we have our logo here. Now on our template we have the logo sort of in a container here of 980. So if we go back to our text editor, we have our container class here. So we go to our style sheet and we say class container. We're going to say width 980 pixels. We're going to say margin 0 to auto. Hit Control and save. Go back to our browser, hit refresh. You can see now that the logo is in a container of 980. You can't see much of a difference at the minute, but when we add our color to our nav bar here, we will see a difference. So if we go back here into our HTML document, and we give this an ID of header top. Control and save. We go to Photoshop here, and we're going to find out the color of the nav bar at the top here. So we're going to copy the color, go into our style sheet here. I'm going to say header top, background, color, Control and save, and we go back to our browser, and you can see your logo is centered in the page. So next we're going to add our nav list. So if we go back to our text editor, and if we go into our nav tag, we say UL. Inside our UL we're going to say li, give it an a tag, give it a hash for now, and we're going to say, let's copy these 3 more times. So copy, paste, copy, paste. So we have home, about, portfolio and contact. We can turn save and go to our browser, hit refresh. You can see we have our list here. So it's time to add some style to the list. So we go to our style sheet and we say nav ul list style none, nav li, say display inline block, and we're going to also add some margin. So let's find out the margin is between our elements here. So if we go in here, we grab measuring tool, 26. So half of 26 is 13. So we say margin. Just say top, bottom with 0 for now, and 13 pixels. Also going to float our nav. Say nav instead of float. So float our nav to the right. Also going to give our A tags a color. Let's say color of white. So, and we'll give them a font size. Font size of, let's just see what the font size is. So it's T. Our font size is 15. So go back to our text editor. 15 pixels. Control and save. Go back to our browser. We hit refresh. And you can see our nav has disappeared, but it's actually here. So why is this? Because this here element is a block element at the minute. So we're going to float the logo now too. So now we're going to float our logo. So if we go to our logo tag, we're going to say float left. You control and save. Go back to our browser. Refresh. And now our blue background has disappeared. If we go back to our text editor, we go to our header tab, and we're going to add a height of 99 pixels. I control and save. Go back to our browser. Now you can see the blue background again. And our nav. Next we're going to style our nav a wee bit more. We're going to center the text between the blue line, and we're going to take off the underline. So go back to here. We say text decoration none, but we're going to add a wee hover effect. So we say nav a hover. I'm going to say text decoration underline. So this means when we hover over our A tags in the list, it will show an underline, like so. So let's bring our text down between the blue lines. So we're going to say nav margin top 20 pixels. Hit control and save. Back to our browser, refresh, and you can see the text here is in between the blue. So the next part we're going to do is adding the background of the header. So in our text editor here, we're going to add a new div here. We're going to call this say main header. And inside here we're going to have some text. So we're going to have another div tag. Inside the div tag we're going to say p tag with the text websites fueled by coffee. We hit Control and save, back to our browser, refresh. You can see we have our text here, but the text is actually inside the container, so we need to add a container tag. So if we just go up here and copy this, we're just going to add it here, indent our code, go down below, we hit Control and save, go back to our browser, and you can see the text is now in line with it. So next we're going to add our background image for the header. We'll go back to our text editor, copy the name of the tag, go into our style sheet, we're going to say background URL. We're going to have to come out of the CSS path and into the image path. So to come out of the CSS path you have to do // image / header JPG, and we're going to add a no repeat. We're going to say center. We're also going to give it background size of cover. This will cover the whole background. And we hit Control and save, back to our browser, hit refresh. You can see that our image here is coming out a wee bit. So next we're going to do is we're going to add an ID to our div tag with the text. So we're going to say ID header text, copy the tag name, save. And we're going to float it left. We're going to give it a width of 290 pixels for now. Go back to Photoshop. I'm just going to find what size the text is in here, roughly. So it's 45 pixels. So 45 font size, 45 pixels. We're also going to give it a bit of a line height, which is 100 pixels. We're also going to give it a font color, so I'm going to say color to be white. We're also going to add a height to our main header, so we're going to say height 520 pixels. Turn save. If we go back to our browser, refresh, now you can see we have our nice background and our text. So the next part we're going to do is we're going to add our button. So if we go into our text editor here and we go back to our index file, and we're going to add another div tag. This one is going to be called header button, and inside here we're going to have an anchor tag. I'm going to give it just a hash for now, and it's going to say view portfolio. And we hit Control and save, and we go back to our browser, hit refresh, and you can see we have a lovely button with blue text. But what we want to do is add a little style to it. So if we go back here and just copy the tag name, we want to give it a few styles. So just find the color of our button first. So this is the color of our button. So we're going to say background and we give it a border radius of 5 pixels. Go down and we're going to say header button, say color white. We need to add the A tag to the end of it here. Header white, text declaration of none. Hit Control and save, back to our browser, refresh. And we see now that our button is a wee bit on the white side. So what we're going to do is we're going to float our button to the left. So we're going to say float left. We hit Control and save here. We're back to our browser. See now the button is a wee bit smaller, but it hasn't floated underneath our text. This is because the button is able to float to the left as here because this is only 290. So we need to clear our button. So we would say clear both. Control and save, back to our browser, and you can see the button is underneath. So we need to add a little bit of padding to our button. So let's find out what it has. So the button is roughly 45, we'll say, by 10. 45 by 10 pixels padding. So we're going to say padding to be 10 pixels by 45 pixels. Control and save, back to our browser, refresh, and now we have our nice button. So there you go, folks. We've just set up our navigation and our header in our web page. The next part we're going to focus on is the services and our portfolio. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Please feel free to subscribe or comment down below. Until our next episode.